Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Colby here, and today we're going to be looking at notifications in Microsoft Teams and how to change the settings so that you don't get inundated by a lot of notifications in your activity area. If you haven't already, if you haven't checked out my intro to Microsoft Teams, I've inserted a link in the description below, so make sure you check that out if you want to learn more about using Microsoft Teams. But today we're going to be looking at notifications. So what I've done is I've fired up the desktop app for Microsoft Teams. If you click on your user profile, you'll notice that there's a drop down, and if you click on settings and go to notifications, there's a bunch of settings here where you can change different notifications for different items. So for instance, if you get a personal mention, that means that someone has used the @ symbol and said your name. You can choose how you want to see that. So a banner is basically just if you're notified in Teams itself. So say you've got Microsoft Teams on your phone, you'll get a notification from Microsoft Teams on your phone, or you'll get a notification on your desktop. But you can also make it so that you get an email, and so there's the option if it'll also send you an email of that notification. I personally don't like the emails for a lot of things, but depending on what your needs are, you might find that very useful. You might just say, okay, I just want banner, or maybe you only want to show it in your feed, so it'll only show up in the feed. And so again, you'll notice with the channel mentions that there's a slight difference. You can actually turn that off. So personal mentions, you don't have the option to turn that off. That will show up in your feed regardless of what you do. Team mentions, if you're mentioned in any teams, any mentions in channels of teams, you can turn those off, as well as set them to banner or just show up in your feed. In your messages area, so this is when you're chatting to people, you can change those. So chat messages, how do you want chat messages? So someone sends you a chat message, how do you want that to appear? Replies to conversations I started, replies to conversations I replied to, right? So you can really kind of break it down into these fine areas of how you would like to be notified. In terms of if there's any team membership changes, you can change that. If there's any role changes in the team, not all of a sudden someone's been changed from a member of a team to an owner, and say you want to get notified about that, you can make sure to set it to whatever notification you would like. As well as any missed activity emails, you can set that to kind of a time frame. So you probably don't want it every 10 minutes, but maybe you do. You never know. Or maybe you want them daily, or every 8 hours. So you can kind of set the frequency there, as well as any sounds. So if you want notification sounds to occur, you can set it so that they only occur for call, mentions, and chats, instead of having all these notification sounds constantly. And then there's some other ones like highlights. So if a colleague joined Teams, maybe you want to get notified about that. And in terms of meetings, I personally really like this one, the meeting started notification. So just lets you know when someone joins a meeting and it starts, you'll get a little pop-up banner, and just alerting you that it started, because sometimes you can get so absorbed in your work that you forget that you've got a meeting right now. As well as meeting chat notifications. So you can say mute until I joined, or send a message, or you can unmute it. So if you select mute until I join, obviously that just means only once you've joined the meeting will it not mute, it'll be unmuted, but until then, you're not going to get any of the notifications. So, and then there's this other option here for status. So you can manage that, and you can basically check to see if people change their status and be notified about that change. So let's just say I'm really interested in seeing when Megan changes her status. I can set that, and it'll let me know, okay, when her status changes, when she comes online, when she's set to busy, etc. So it's a great way of following individual statuses. So yeah, hopefully you found that informative. Just went over the basics of notification settings and how you can make them a little better and cater them more to your personal liking, and it can help kind of take the load off having these constant amount of notifications coming in, especially if you're part of a lot of teams. It can be quite a lot to handle sometimes. So that's a great way of kind of lightening your load. So yeah, thanks so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.